Hey, good morning, everyone. We should be up and live right now, and we are broadcasting.
Thank goodness we're still alive.
Yeah, and you can see it in living color. Anyway, we're going to do our LTS live training session for those that are brand new to what it is we do. I'm going to do a little some routing on a sign that I've been working on, and we want to welcome everybody. Hope everybody's having a great Saturday. It's 8 o'clock here in Arizona, and we're going to work, keep this thing going for about an hour-ish. Last 20 minutes, 20, 25, 30 minutes, we'll do a Q&A. So if you guys have questions, write them down and save them for the end. Do we have people, looks like, chiming in?
Yep.
Excellent.
Just remember, halfway through, after about 30 minutes, we've got to shut it down because it's only a 30-minute...
Yeah, Facebook Live lets us only go 30 minutes at a time. So at the 30-minute mark, we'll have to shut down, and then you guys will... What do? They just shut down and then go back in? Yeah, close Facebook and then go back in?
You don't have to close Facebook. It'll just pop back up as live.
It'll just come back on, yeah. Okay.
John Shaver says, good morning.
Morning, John. We kind of just do an introduction here. Dad's part of it. He's kind of lead on what he wants to talk about.
Touch on the premium member benefit. I just want to touch on that when I get started.
Okay. Well, I think we're ready.
Get started.
Go. Okay. You're up.
Premium members. Because of premium membership, you get a 5% discount plus free router bit sharpening. But you need to understand that in order to get your 5% discount, you need to place your order on the makeawoodsign.com website. If you don't place your order there, we have no way of knowing without a really lengthy, involved process. We have no way of knowing if you're a premium member. Premium members get their discount code every month, and you enter that discount code on the website when you place an order so that you get your discount. If you don't place it on the website, then I have to go through like a half hour or 45-minute thing in order to research the name or whether you're a member, and then go back and do a refund. And it really is time consuming. It's just really a hassle. So we would like all premium members, when you place an order, if you want to get your 5% discount, place your order on makeawoodsign.com order page. If you don't do that, probability is you won't get your discount, because I can't spend hours every day going back and researching and finding out whether I need to issue a refund or whatever. So do me a favor, and if you want your 5% discount, order on the website.
Okay, and along that note, if anybody doesn't know what premium membership is, if you go to makeawoodsign.com, at the very top, you'll see, well, not right underneath our pictures, Dad's picture, you'll see a tab over on the right-hand side. It says premium membership. Click on that, it gives you all the details. Basically, it's $9.95 a month, and you get free router bit sharpening, you get a free video, that $19.95 video, and 5% discount. We're going to be adding more benefits later on to that. So anyway, that's what premium membership is.
The $19.95 video, that's the price of the video. It wasn't made in $19.95. That's the price of the video.
No, the price of the video, yeah. So yeah, that's the deal with premium membership.
Yeah, so just remember to get your discount, and you're entitled to it because you're paying for it. But to get it, you need to order on the website.
Okay. All right. So that is that'll be kind of the kickoff. So Dad, I'll take it from here. I'm going to fire up the router and do some routing here.
What are you going to do? You're going to finish this sign?
Well, I'm going to try and finish this sign on camera. Okay. Dog's trying to work his way in. Good job. Boss lady rushed him out. So yeah, I'm
All right,
gonna
well,
try and
I'll
get
get
this
out of here
done.
and let you go ahead and do your thing then.
Okay.
Then I'll come back at the end for the questions and answers.
Right.
And, okay.
All right, very good. Thank you, Dad. Try and move this chair out of the way for the moment. I'll make it a little easier. Okay, so for those of you that have been tuning in for a while,
Reconnect, okay.
we lost her.
We're doing the in and out thing.
Oh my gosh, are
It's
we?
alright, you're good.
Okay, but are we on Wi-Fi or are we on
I don't
3G?
know. I can't remember right now, but
Well, is the
Keep
little
going.
Wi-Fi speaker thing showing up in the corner?
no. Yeah. Yeah, it is.
It is
Okay.
there?
Yeah.
Okay, so we probably are on Wi-Fi. So we got Dan Yodis, one of our guys. He's an IT guy, and he helped me hook up. Those of you that chimed in on the LTS before, we do have a Wi-Fi extender that we've got hooked up now. And I tried it yesterday and it worked out great. But this
All right.
morning,
Michael Nunes says you're loud and clear. It's only blinked for a second, so it's blinking. But
all right, well. Yeah, yesterday it was working absolutely perfect, but this morning we've had a few little issues, so we'll hope for the best. So anyway, so this sign that I'm doing is a repeat order from a customer. This was a 12 by 24 that I did, just to give you guys a little background. This is a 12 by 24 that I did a few years ago for a customer that I found up in Oatman. And they wanted me to reproduce this, but in a bigger scale. So now I've redone this sign. I've been working on it for the last couple of weeks, and I want to...
piping in from Canada and Washington and New York.
Wow, cool. Welcome, guys. I'm glad you're here. So last Friday I did the layout on the letters, and I started to kind of do the tree. But what I want to do today is, if you can you see the board yet, babe? Okay, so what I want to do today, first thing is I want to carve this tree. I want to get all these branches and carve this tree and just get as far on this thing as I can get while we're on camera. So when I drew this tree out, I drew it out, basically it took me, I don't know, a half hour, 45 minutes to kind of see what I did on the last one and kind of emulate that, so to speak. And I drew it out with a pencil and I erased a bunch of stuff and finally got it the way I want it. Then I went back with my black pen and I my Sharpie, and I kind of darkened it in. Now, when you do a Sharpie on black, it doesn't show up that well, so you can, and I don't know whether the camera will show it, but I went and wrote over the top with the black with a pencil, because it gives it kind of a shine. It's a little bit easier to see, obviously, down here, and up here the Sharpie works really well. All right, so let's stop talking and start routing. So I am using our profile bit. This profile bit I've had for, gosh, this one I probably sharpened 12, 14 times. I don't even know how many times I've sharpened it. So it's not the, it tends to be a little bit different shape once you sharpen it a bunch of times, but it still works pretty well. So I have to show my bald head and take my cowboy hat off. Get my magnifiers on. All right, so I'm going to start at the top. I always try and do the most difficult part first. That's what, and I don't want to lose these lines.
Good morning, Alvin.
Morning, Mac. I don't want to lose these lines that I penciled in. These are the ones that I want to make sure that I get. So I'll do these first and make sure that I don't forget them. So let's do it. How's our connection? Good. One thing I want to go over here real quick, guys, sorry about that router sound, is you can see, and when I get to these little crooks in the tree and the branches and stuff, I like to lift my router up and get that point there. That's just something I do. It wouldn't necessarily have to be done that way. It's just something that I like to do to try and get those little points in there. So the way I do that, and if you're watching, you'll notice the way I do it is when I get to that point, then I just literally kind of bring it up, bring one side up, and that helps. The neat thing about doing artwork like this is if you're not right on the line, nobody really knows as long as the flow is right. And the same thing, but the same thing doesn't apply to the letters. Everybody will see if you're offline with the letters. All right, so let's keep going here.
We're about halfway, 15 minutes, almost 15 minutes.
We're 15 minutes in? Is that what you're saying? Sorry about that. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids look there, guys. Anyway, I forgot to mention, I had a little bit of a, kind of a divot in this little area right here. And so I went ahead and put some of that plastic wood, the walnut colored plastic wood right there, because I really didn't want to change that branch. So that's what that is right there. And you could see when I just came through, it kind of caught on the router base. That's where you have to be really cognizant of anything that might be catching on your router base. So you don't want to be out of control to the point where if you hit that, it kind of throws you all off. And that just comes really with practice, guys. All right, so where are we at here? So I did that. I'm going to move over to this side. Do I need to move this, babe?
Yeah, no, you're
Okay.
good.
All right. We still have that to do. Okay.
I have a lot of comments. I just wanted to tell you a few. Says,
Okay.
people are saying you make it look so easy. It says when Eric uses a router, it looks like he's cutting through butter. It says when I use it, it feels like I'm cutting through a moving piece of metal. That's from Paul Padilla.
Well,
Michael
I've done a few,
Caruso
Paul.
Says
Mike?
I tried out my profile for the first time yesterday and the thing was wiggling all over the place. Eric, you make it look so easy at the speed you do it.
Well, thanks, guys. I appreciate the comments. I appreciate the compliments. This is redwood. It's pretty soft, although you can see in areas it's trying to kind of jump on me. So that's where having a sharp bit, and this one probably I need to touch up a little bit. We're at 21 minutes. All right, so I think I've done, so anyway, thanks, guys. I appreciate all the cool comments. You know, it's like anything else, whatever you guys do for a living, you know, I've done a bunch of these. So, yeah, I do make it look easy, maybe a little bit easier than I did 30 years ago 40 years ago when I started. But the cool thing is it's still as much fun as it was back then. So, anyway, all right, to get back to it. I got the tree. I think I've got all my branches done. Now, the thing that I will do now, just to absolutely make sure that I don't take out anything that I'm not supposed to take out, like this is one that would be really easy to wipe that out because it would be, this is cleanup, but that's not cleanup. That's part of that branch coming down. So that's probably where I will start with my cleanup to make sure that I get that. So anything that you've got that is that you don't want to take out, like this will be cleanup. So I'll mark that. This will be all cleanup here. Cleanup or background for those of you that... Now, you might have noticed at one point what happens is my hands, sometimes they kind of cramp up. And I'll set the router bit in a place that I know is going to be cleanup. And that router will just stay right there. And I'll kind of get the blood flowing in my hands again. So in case you were wondering what was going on when I did that. All right, so we are what? Just a few minutes away.
Almost 23 minutes.
23 minutes.
Remember, at 30 minutes it'll shut down, so I'll have to restart.
All right, so I've got my cleanup bit here, guys. My background bit. It's the 90-degree V-groove 2 fluted. Now, what I'm going to start with is here. If you can't see this, I hope you can. But right underneath this 7, there's a knot that I missed when I was doing my layout. That means I sprayed black down in there. So the way I'm going to, fortunately, the way I'm going to fix that is I'm going to make sure that my cloud comes around and wipes that out so I don't have a black spot there. And that's the part that I'm going to start with here. I think my depth is set just about right. Let's turn that around. Time now, Greg. 5 minutes? Okay. Okay, so, well, we got a couple minutes here, guys. Oh, itchy nose. You'll notice that I didn't draw a cloud around here. I've done so many that I know where that letter is. I keep track of it, and that allows me to do that cloud without drawing it with a pencil. When I first started for the first year or two, I definitely did draw that cloud. So you guys, if you're new to it, you might want to draw that cloud. And all I do is I just take a pencil and I just literally just draw the cloud and then kind of come somewhere close to that. Now, you can see me kind of picking out little places. There's a spot here that's a little bit high. I could go back with a router, but it's a little bit easier just to use a little tool. You could use a pocket knife. You could use that. Now, when I look at it, a lot of times I'll look at it, try and see in the surface of the board. I can see that this part right here would be a little bit high. So I'm going to take that off. There's another little high spot. And that is about it for that area right there. Maybe that one. And that now I am done with that. So I think what we'll do, let's go ahead and shut it down now. I know it's probably a couple minutes, but let's go ahead and, well, where are we at? A couple minutes?
You're about 3 minutes.
3 minutes? Okay, well then let's just leave it for a second. I need to blow some of this sawdust off here and kind of show you what I'm going to do on this big cloud. All right, so now this big cloud, if I'm going to try and emulate what I did on my little one, that I am going to draw. So I know that I want my background to come. I'm going to probably start the background around here, and then I'm basically going to make, you can see I didn't use an actual cloud like I normally do on letters because I wanted it to emulate kind of the outline of a tree. So that's the way I did it before, and I want all of this to be background, so I've got to bring it down here. So I'm going to bring it around. Oh, you know what? I didn't make that background. Ooh, well, I'm going to this time. Since I poked a hole in it there, I was thinking that was all going to be background. It wasn't on this one. On this one, it's going to be. I think it'll look better anyway. So.
You got about a minute and a half.
Okay, so I am going to, I'll bring my background up to here, maybe just bring it into this and leave this silhouette and then start the background there. I think that'll look pretty cool. And then I'll start, I'll do the same thing here. I'll bring the background. I'll just do that.
You
don't have time?
No.
Okay.
So we're going to shut it down and then we'll start up again and we'll have another 30 minutes.
All right, you guys, we'll be right back. Okay, we should be back on live now. Sorry for that little bit of delay there. It took a little longer than we thought. We actually had to reboot the camera and whatnot. By the way, we're going to be upgrading our camera hopefully in the next 30 days. So the next LTS we'll hopefully have a better camera. I got some really good advice from my buddy Eric Rossi, the guy with the eye. So anyway, so here's what we're going to do. Dang, I pulled a Dave there for a second. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. This is all going to be background based on my little miscalculation there. Now I'm going to make it background. So I am going to, let me see which way it worked best on that. from the top down. That's a lot of sawdust. Yeah, sorry.
My new perfume.
That was a
Old days sawdust.
that was kicking out a lot of sawdust. All right, you guys. Gosh, I sure wish I could finish this on camera, but you kind of got to have an idea. I wanted to give you some of everything, carving those branches, doing some of the background. So my next step is obviously taking all of this out. So everything except for the letters and the branches will be black. You guys at least got an idea of how I go about this. The places that you really have to watch out for is where you have overlying and intersecting lines. I get a lot of questions on how to do the background where you don't get high spots, and you could see fairly small random type circular motions. So I think that hopefully will be of value to you. Let me get these routers out of the way so Dad can come back in here and sit down. We can answer some questions. Let me blow this off first, Dad. Hang on just a second. So would it make sense to turn this around and stand it up? Do you think you'll get a better view of it? So that's where we are right now. So again, all of this will be taken out. This will all be background, much like this is here. I'll leave this just single line the way I did. This will be taken out. So you guys get an idea.
You can always show the finished thing on your
Yeah, I think I will. Maybe on a coffee and questions. I'm going to get it routed by the end of the weekend. And so if you guys want to see this, now I'm kind of locking myself in. But if you guys will see either Monday or Wednesday's coffee and questions, you guys will see this absolutely done. Putting a finish on it because I got to get it shipped out this next week. All right, Dad, come on over and have a seat. So do we have questions starting to line up?
yeah.
All right. Cool. Woo. All right. When I wear that, oh, back up to questions. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you liked it.
A lot of people said the signal was much better, that the booster's doing good.
Really? Good.
Deborah,
Ocean Beam.
that's it. I finally can watch the LTS. Took my laptop back to factory restore in order for it to work.
Well, glad you're back online.
Thank you for all the shares, Deborah. I notice, and I try to, anytime you guys share my videos and stuff, I always try to comment and thank you. But if I miss you, I miss saying thank you personally. Just know that I see everything. Okay. I see everything. Thank you.
So Walter Smith says, can Eric plug his silicone spray for his router bits or router base when he gets a chance? What kind of silicone?
Oh, the silicone. Gosh, I don't even. I think it's made by Blaster. I think is one of the ones. I just get whatever kind of silicone spray I get that Lowe's sells, and I think one of them is called Blaster.
Okay. Walter Smith says, and great work at keeping Eric in line, Vic. Walter Smith, sawdust makes me happy. What Frank Jenkins says, what type or brand of paint sticks do you use? Those paint pens?
Oh, the paint pens. Those paint pens that I was using on the coffee and questions, I think those were Elmer's, if I remember right. I think they were Elmer's. I think I ordered them online through Amazon. And I think I got it was referred to me by several of the guys that were using them. I think Elmer's makes a really good paint pen, Frank.
Okay.
Thanks for tuning in, Frank.
Wayne Hinton says, when did you cut the letters?
I cut the letters on, I cut them actually off camera yesterday. But I have lots of videos where I'm doing the profiling of letters. But I cut the letters yesterday because I really wanted to focus on the tree and the branches and background.
Debbie
Oceanbine.
Thank you. My question for the day is, which style do you think is easier for the beginner, inset or outset letters?
You want to take that one?
Well, inset letters are far easier. They're more forgiving. It's easier to go back if you're on an inset letter and you make a slight bobble. It's a lot easier to go back and take that out, make the line a little bit wider. Or if you're on an outset letter, they're not so forgiving. You need to be a little bit more careful on the outset. So the answer for your question is, for beginners, inset letters are easier. But that doesn't mean you should restrict yourself just to inset letters, because if you don't do the outset letters, you'll never learn how to do them right. So,
now, my opinion is pretty much the same as Dad's. However, based on feedback that I get on a regular basis, I have people all the time tell me, oh, I hate inset letters. They're so hard to do. I like outset letters because I can always go to the outside of the line. So, but my opinion is inset letters is like Dad's. Inset letters are easier to learn. So, but you just, it may be individual. But then I was talking to somebody yesterday. In fact, I think it was Dan Yotis yesterday, the day before. And he said he doesn't have any issues with inset letters, but outset letters are a bear for him. So you have to kind of learn. But
just overall, though, just for my advice, inset letters are the easiest to learn. Outset letters are a little more difficult, but they look better. So,
okay.
But don't restrict yourself. Do a lot of practice on the outset letters so that you know how to do them. Follow our video advice and do them both.
Okay, Mac McCune, otherwise known as Alvin.
Alvin,
it says, good to see you, Master Dave.
How you doing, Mac?
Frank Jenkins, again, hello, our queen. Hello, Frank. Dan Yotis says Dave has the hard job. Deborah. Oceanbine. Oh, thanks, Deborah.
She spelled it. Yeah, that's how I knew how to do it.
She spelled it so I can understand it. Okay, Todd Belden. Do you use a fluted bit for your background?
Yes, a double fluted bit. It's a 90-degree, the one that's on our website.
Well, real quick, somebody had asked on the first session if we could do a close-up on your bits. So that might be a good time to do that.
Yeah, okay. Well, as close as you can get with the camera, I don't know.
Let's see what
So this is
Tip it up a little bit.
This way?
I hope this isn't too blurry. There we go.
That is our two fluted 90-degree V-groove. That's what we use for our background.
All right,
the background or the cleanup.
And the other one, since we're here?
And the other one won't look exactly like our profile bit, although it is our profile bit. But like I mentioned in the beginning, I've sharpened it maybe a dozen or 24 times.
Okay. All right, good.
So it cuts a lot fatter right now. It cuts a lot fatter, and what I do is I pick
fatter. You mean a wider line?
A wider line. It cuts a fatter line because this is all pretty big letters. If I was carving small outset letters, I would have picked a profile bit that has a narrower, like a newer profile bit that has a narrower cut.
Okay, Stephen Cook. About how large can you make a sign out of 1 inch 3/4 actual redwood before going to 2-inch thick redwood? How?
If you can get 1 by 12, which is 3/4 inch thick net, if you can get that 12 inches, which is generally going to be like 11 1/4, I would certainly use that without putting a backer on it. But that's probably the largest board that you're going to get. I don't even have availability to redwood other than this 2-inch stuff. I can't even get 1-inch redwood out here unless it's like 1 by 4. So if I go with redwood, I go with the 1.5 inch or the 2-inch redwood when I'm laminating boards.
Okay, Fernando Alvarez says yes, they are Elmer ear pens.
Elmer's. Okay,
Elmer's.
thank you, Fernando.
Doug Blake.
Doug.
What is your speed setting for the DeWalt variable speed for profile and 90-degree?
Fast.
The faster the better. The
Top speed. You don't do anything at slow speed.
Yeah.
Top speed.
The only-
I think 28,000
Yeah.
RPM.
Yeah, I always go full speed. Now, if I was cutting acrylics or plastics, being a machinist, that's where you would slow down.
Yeah, you
that
could
cutter
slow down
speed.
if you're cutting acrylic or plastic.
Wait a minute,
We're
what
talking,
happened?
We're talking about routing wood
Hang,
siding.
hang on. What?
Hold on. I don't know. Something. Okay. Rachel sent you a text and it popped up. So. Okay, let's see. Okay,
So, yeah.
Dan Yotis, I agree. Sack.
Did we answer that?
That's Andy Earl.
Okay.
Sack Earl.
All right, Dave. Just wanted to let you know I so look forward to your memory lane.
Oh, well, thank you. I've got a couple more in the works now, so we'll be walking down memory lane with some country music started very shortly.
Deborah Oceanbine says thank you, Dave and Eric. Frank Jenkins. Go.
Okay, so Facebook is, we're losing Facebook. That's the reason it's real choppy and we're losing our signal. So I apologize, guys. We had to find out whether it was the signal. That's why we came into the house and we're at the table here. So we'll just keep broadcasting as much as we can. But we think Facebook is the issue today. Because it just kept going off and on and off. So if there are people that can hear me, if they're chiming in, I'll be happy to answer questions as long as I can. It's like 5 minutes.